This is Mick Foley, and you are now somewhere in the ring. Have a nice day.
The following podcast is scheduled for one recording with no time limit. Making their way down to somewhere in the ring, Andrew Sanford and Ryan Sprague.
All right, I love your spooky mug.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Welcome.
I got this today. Everyone is different, they said. There was a sticker that said, every design is different. Yeah.
Oh, so
none of that mass-produced stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love, and this is every year now, earlier and earlier, I can just go get Halloween stuff in the store, and that started like 2 weeks ago.
Yep, I know.
Like Halloween candy.
Yeah.
The only bummer is they really come for last-minute shoppers now. You cannot do any last-minute shopping if you want any kind of Halloween, because by like October 20th, they're like, screw you. It's Christmas stuff now. And I'm like, well, but I still need candy. You started selling it to me early, so it's gone, of course.
Every year, man. It's a little earlier.
I'm a human. Like, if I get candy, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
Even though I shouldn't.
So what's your rule? What's your rule with your kids for trick-or-treating? Like, how many are they allowed to eat on Halloween?
We're still like playing with those rules. You know what I mean? Everything is kind of rolling and developing. I'm sure things will change. This year will be the first year they start school next week. So this will be the first year that like there will be that aspect of things. Like they'll know about other kids' candy and stuff like that more explicitly. But we're usually like, you have a couple pieces. There is still Halloween candy sitting in a bucket in my closet from like a year ago for two reasons. One, because nobody wants white chocolate Reese's peanut butter cups. And for two, because they just kind of forgot that was there after a couple of days.
Send them my way, man. I like those.
I
would eat them.
Guy?
Oh my God. White chocolate is my lifeblood. I'm not kidding.
Nice. Do you know what it is? I think I got really sick on it once when I was little. I specifically remember, by the way, this is Somewhere in the Ring, a podcast where we talk about pro wrestling. I'm Andrew Sanford, this is Ryan Sprague. But more importantly, when I was little, I was watching Masterpiece Theater, and I believe it was an episode about Pinocchio that Paul Rubens starred in. And I was eating a white chocolate pop of some kind. That I was sent from my Aunt Jen, and I got sick, and I've never had a taste for it since. And I've tried.
Really good plosives there, by the way, my friend. Really good plosives.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry that happened to you. No one should be traumatized by white chocolate. But
yeah.
We're back, baby. You have been gone. Welcome back into the ring. You have been
Thank you very much.
Busy man. Now I know there's not much you can share about what you were doing, but is there anything you want to?
I can share.
Yeah,
quite
catch
a bit,
us up.
Honestly.
Catch us up a little bit if you don't mind.
One week I was gone on vacation with my family, where I was determined to become 75% saltwater taffy by the end of the week. I think I came close. And then I was in Waterbury, Connecticut, directing a pilot that some friends wrote that they raised money for, that we had a whole budget. We were there. So we basically shot Monday through Sunday one week. We got there on a Sunday and didn't leave until the next Sunday when we were done.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was long days. I was definitely exhausted by the end, but like good kind of exhausted. And I pride myself as a director of kind of like setting the tone and trying to make sure the energy is up and people are in a good mood, because we are doing something fun at the end of the day, even when it's hard. It's still it's still a dream kind of situation. We were all getting paid to be there. There was money. There was it was one of the best experiences I've had in my life, not even just because of the resources, but because I was surrounded by some of the most talented people I've truly ever worked with.
That's awesome.
It was really incredible. And the people that I worked with, Callie Rayner and Tiffany Cole, who wrote it and starred in it and produced it, and they've been working on it for 5 years. And I could not be more proud of the work that they've put into it. And it was about theater bartending. which I had quite a bit of experience in. And it was
we both do. Yep.
Yep. And it was very jarring from going to do that a whole week where I was, walking around in a shirt and tie and being in charge and talking to people and working with actors and working with other creatives in a theater very similar to the one that I still work in. And then I was at that theater on Tuesday night.
It's like you never left. Wow.
Really, it was an interesting experience, to say the least. Like the Tuesday night was not one of my favorite nights, but the week leading up to it, really, really good. I'm excited for people. I posted like a clip of some stuff on my social media, but things are moving right along. Like, they have an editor already. They have who we really like. So it's one of those things that I like somewhat confidently say won't like languish in post production for
right.
But
for 3 years,
exactly.
I've been
Mm-hmm,
there, dude.
mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I really enjoyed following your social media. I can't wait to see it when it comes out. It sounds like you guys had a ball, but I'm sure there were some challenging moments. Which
hey, look, I'll lay something on you real quick because here's the thing. Two things. One, it was the most problem-free shoot I've ever been on. And I'm not just saying that. One of our gaffers we were taking the train together on the way back, and she and I were both kind of just, shout out to Jules, talking about how crazy it was that nothing really went wrong. And even when things did, like there was a leak in the ceiling to the theater that was there the first day we got there. And I just remember seeing a garbage can underneath it to make sure no water fell. And it held up until we didn't need to shoot in that area anymore. Like eventually it fell through the day before we were having our last day of shooting, but our last day of shooting was in a completely different section of the theater. And what happened was not our fault in the slightest. One day, we were supposed to be shooting with a union crew inside the theater because you cannot operate lights or curtains or anything like that inside the theater without a union crew. And there was some miscommunication or something where we knew that the way it works is they are there for 12 hours and they have an hour at the beginning to set up, an hour at the end to break down, and an hour in the middle for lunch. That's why you have unions. That's a good gig.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a set time. And we were under the impression that it was going to be 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I get there at 8:30 because I knew we wouldn't be able to start shooting until 9. And my DP is just like, the union crew has been here since 7 and they will be leaving at 7, which means we have to stop shooting at 6.
Oh, you lost an hour. Oh,
yep. But
which is crucial.
And it was our only day to shoot in that auditorium.
Oh no.
That was the only day we could do it. But after everything we had been through at that point, like on Wednesday, we had a bunch of extras come in. We had to spend the latter half of the day shooting a oneer, like a continuous take that we had been rehearsing the night before. And then I had to place extras in there and make sure they were walking at certain times and doing certain things when they were supposed to. And it was arduous and it was a lot of work. And we worked right up until we had to make sure all the extras were wrapped at 8 p.m. because we also had to be out of the theater right at 8:30 every single night. Or else they would charge us overtime for renting the place. And we did it. So when my DP was, so when my DP, I'm so excited, and we watched the oneer the next morning, and we were like, holy cow, like we did it. We got it. And then when I was talking to on Friday, when my DP told me that, I was just like, the union guys, that we lost an hour. I was like, okay, we'll handle it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
and that's what you got to do. You can't wallow in it. You just gotta problem solve, think on your feet, and that's the sign of a good director. So good on you and good on your crew. Bud. And I'm sure these are collaborative efforts. And when everyone wants the best for the project, that's when you take that problem, you solve it, and you make sure you get the shot. And you guys got the shot. That's amazing. You.
Yep, and I open anytime in the opening speech of the week and in talking to people ahead of time, I have 2 main rules on my set. One is be nice, and I was very happy that people were even privately coming up to me throughout the week, being like, "Thank you for saying that," because it really set a tone, including somebody who worked in the theater that said the last shoot, I guess, did not have that policy. The last time people were shooting in that theater, we'll just put it that way. And I was also like, look, at the end of the day, we are making something here. If you have an idea, come and tell me. The worst that can happen is I say no.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And we got some of my favorite stuff in the week because someone came up and was like, hey, if you try this, or I think we missed this. And that's everybody from the gaffers to the DP to everybody, because that's how you get the best stuff. I had to say no a couple times, but that's it. That's it. It's just no. And then we move on and we try to get something else. Truly blessed, truly blessed. And look, anybody, I'm still riding the confidence. So if you need a director out there, I let me know. I've done quite a few things at this point.
Yeah, you have. You're very accomplished. Yeah.
Thank you. I can handle pressure, and just come talk to me.
Clearly, I cannot wait to see that one shot, baby. I cannot wait. Well, we've had a busy month of wrestling since you've been on the road. We had a really good friend of mine, Kayla McGinnis, came on last week to talk all about what's going on. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember what I did last week, but this week I got COVID, so I am slowly recuperating from that.
How you feeling?
I'm okay. This episode's a couple days late. You were nice enough to say, dude, get some rest, because you know me.
Yeah,
I could lose a limb, and I'd be like, Andrew, I'm on my way, buddy. I'm on my way.
I know.
But I needed it. I needed the rest. So, but I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk some wrestling.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, feeling much better. But just remember, guys, the old COVID-19 is not gone for good.
Not going nowhere. Nope. Yeah, we almost one of our leads had COVID leading right up to it, and she started testing that we had to. Yeah. Luckily, it happened early enough that we were able to keep her away from everybody the first couple of days, and then she ended up testing negative. So we were able to get back to normal. But it's scary out there.
Scary stuff, man. We were calling it here. We had the Edinburgh Fringe close this past week, and
there it is.
I had the good opportunity to meet up with our good friend Jennifer Ewing, who's an actor who we knew in New York City. She had a Fringe show here. So got to meet up with her. Got to say hi to our past guest, Gianmarco Cerezi, was in town doing a
nice
little tour for the Fringe as well. But they're calling this the Fringe flu because there were hundreds of thousands of extra people in Edinburgh these past few weeks. And boom, I got it. I am one of the unlucky ones, but it's not what we're here to talk about, baby. We're here to talk Forbidden Door. We're here to talk our predictions for Clash at Paris happening this upcoming weekend. And
that's right. That just made me very excited because I forgot. I forgot that's in the middle of the day on Saturday, and I am home all day with my boys. Let's go.
2 p.m. for you, 7 p.m. for me. This is perfect. Sweet spot for both of us. I know. I can't wait. And then you came to me with this. We're going to be talking our top 3 most heartbreaking injuries.
It's going to be very subjective, but
for sure. Now, we had a few stipulations. Nothing that ended in death. Nothing that was too obvious in terms of things that happened with draws, as you had mentioned to me off camera, offline here. But injuries that caused major setbacks or even retirements for some wrestlers.
Sure.
We're gonna be talking about that, but should I give you my mini review of Forbidden Door?
Yeah, let me know what happened at the old Forbidden Door. I think I only know the tag title results.
Okay, that's fair.
But I heard something.
That's fair.
But I was excited about them, if I remember correctly. Who won the?
You heard a ghost. That's what it was. Oh God, I've still got the COVID cough. Sorry.
Oh no.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
How dare you?
Edit that out.
Can you be less sick, Ryan?
I'm sorry. Guys. Mask up. Forbidden Door. Now, it was not 6.5 hours long.
Real quick, just because I think it could be fun.
Yeah.
Because I know that it's been not co-opted, because I believe this still makes this, but let's assume somebody might be listening to this for the first time who's not huge into wrestling, or maybe somebody. So what is Forbidden Door? What is the Forbidden Door in pro wrestling?
Good question. So basically, this is where different brands, different companies come together. forever there'd been this forbidden door that you could not go through. You could not cross through to another promotion. But AEW was one of the first to really invite that in, which is pretty cool. And for them, it was with New Japan was their big one this time with Forbidden Door. So it's
remember WWE did bring ECW onto their show in the 90s.
That is fair.
Which almost felt like, but there could be some arguments as to whether or not what was happening there was basically what's happening with TNA right now, which was them just gearing up to buy the company when they could. Which is definitely going to happen. I'm kind of like fully turned on that now, where I'm just like, I guess if they leave it as is, that'll be good. But it kind of turned from fun working partnership to like, wait, you're going to buy them?
I think everyone knows at this point. Yeah.
Not giving them the benefit of the doubt anymore. But sorry, keep going.
No, buddy. So Forbidden Door is basically this opportunity for a company like New Japan to come over and get seen on AEW shows, which is really cool. And, it also promotes AEW in Japan as well. So just a lot of cross-pollination going on. Everybody wins. And it makes for some really exciting matches. And that happened at this event. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to go through, I think, 4 matches that were kind of my favorites of the night.
Yeah.
And I do want to mention this happened at London's O2 Arena, and the attendance for this Forbidden Door AEW, it broke the record for any pro wrestling show ever at the O2 Arena at 19,000 people. So outdoing some WWE events as well. So there you go. Good on them for that.
Nice. It's a lot of people.
UK be loving their AEW, man. I tell you, I see more AEW merch in my daily life around Scotland, around London when I go there than I do WWE. There have been a few times I've had my WWE hoodie on and I get little like side-eyed, like, you're one of the, you sold out. But yeah, apparently this is a really good turnout. And people had a good time. We had AEW World Championship, Hangman Adam Page versus MJF. Obviously, really good match.
I might have to track that one down. Yeah, dude, I didn't even know. Man, I'm too far behind.
Watch it. MJF took every opportunity to cheat, to do underhanded tactics, but at every turn, Hangman was able to thwart him. And it was a really good match. And
so
Hangman
was that.
What's that?
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to give away the end of the match, but I want to answer your question first.
Oh, was this like, what part? Weren't they in a feud? Wasn't Hangman the masked man, or am I thinking somebody else? No, I'm thinking of the guy who was on NXT, whose name I always forget.
Oh, shoot. I know what you're talking. Yeah. It's escaping me at the moment.
He was the one who was the masked man though. Yeah. Not Adam Page.
Yeah, not Adam Page. Yeah.
Adam Cole. There it is. Another white, dirty blonde man with long hair named Adam.
Hey.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
How am I supposed to keep all these people? Like, come on.
I'm dying.
Thank God.
Don't make me laugh. Don't make me
or
laugh.
else I would really that's.
Oh, don't you dare come after my coat. I'm going to be talking about him in just a little bit. A little more than people probably want. But okay. Adam Page won. He retained.
Okay. Sick.
So awesome match. Awesome match. Next up, we had the AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Toni Storm versus Athena. This was Athena was ROH's women's champion.
Cool.
Ring of Honor. So this is a really good match.
Was or is?
Is
okay.
Yes. This was for the AEW Women's World Championship, however. Toni Storm was entertaining as ever, doing her fun, crass sexual innuendo and just everything you could think of. She's just a genius. She eventually got Athena into a submission, a chicken wing submission, as they call it.
Sick.
And forced Athena to tap out. So this is a tap out match. Really, really good. Really good match. Timeless Toni Storm to retain. We had the tag team return of Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus Kill Switch and Kip Sabian. Oh my God.
Sorry. This could be, and I know I'm literally wearing an AEW shirt, right? I'm literally wearing an AEW shirt. I think I know who Killswitch is. I do not know who the other person is. Is this Christian and Edge's first tag match together in however long?
You want to know how long it's been?
Yes.
14 years.
And they had them go up against whom? Why? What's the
Enough
point?
said. Enough said. Yeah.
That's not
I
even
don't know.
like I like why?
I don't know. I can't pretend to be following. There's probably some storyline going on.
And I'm not gonna pretend that I'm like overly excited about the Dudleys and the Hardys wrestling. Even though the Hardys, I'm less excited about that because the Dudleys. And that's not even like that's it's just statistically, logistically, the Hardys are wrestling actively all the time.
Every week. Yeah.
They're wrestling on TNA. The Dudleys are not. That match is going to have diminishing returns. It just is. It just is. Devon thought he couldn't wrestle for a while and said recently on Chris Van Villet's podcast that he had to like go through the DDP yoga and stuff, which is great. And I'm thrilled for him and I'm glad he's healthy. And I love what's been going on with Cena this year. And I think people should get retirement matches or whatever. That's cool. Do it. Fine. Whatever. But there is a built-in excitement to having those two teams go up against each other.
Right.
And to build up Cope and Cage together for like over a year now, right? When did he tell him to go F himself?
Yeah.
Was that a year ago?
That was probably about a year, maybe more. Yeah.
Right? Like, I feel like they've been building to this for a long time, and they're not even going to go up against the Young Bucks, who I can't stand. They're not going to go up against Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. They're not going to go up against even I know Max Caster and the other dude aren't together anymore, but they're not going to go up against and maybe that's just me not being an AEW person.
Yeah.
As much as I should or could be. But why? Why?
I get
why
it.
Why not
man.
bring I don't know. I don't know. That feels like a real waste. And I was wondering why I haven't heard word one about that match. I'm sure it was fine. I'm sure
the match was fine. I think what everyone's really paying attention to is like just the images of Christian and Cope together again. They're doing this fun shtick now where they're together, but Christian hasn't left his heelish ways.
Sure.
I mean, he made some super inappropriate, as he always does, jabs on either Dynamite or Collision this past week, which were hilarious. And Cope had to be like, stop it. You can't be doing that anymore. You can't be doing hilarious. But the best moment of this was to see them, working together again with it's like they never stopped working together. Not calling moves. They're just doing it inherently. It was awesome. And at the end of it, after they won, Cope went to hug Christian and he was like, he did shake his hand. He's like, not yet, buddy. Not yet.
They already hugged each other. They've hugged twice.
Okay, that's fair.
They've hugged twice. Like, I just don't understand what the play is here. I also don't know why I'm so mad.
Let me have this. Please let me have this.
No,
Good Lord.
But that's the thing. That's the issue is that, and it doesn't even seem like they're in a retirement standpoint, but a bar has been set. Kind of by Cope, but definitely by people like John Cena. Where it's like, if you want to come back, you better be able to do this.
Yeah.
And you better have a real plan in place. And we've seen that blow up in Cena's face too, to be fair, with the Travis Scott and Rock stuff. But even they were able to make like lemons out of lemonade or lemonade out of lemons in that case. But it's just that blows my mind. I just don't understand what the play is.
I get it. And I know you want the best for my Cope, so I'm gonna agree with you on this.
I loved Edge and Christian. Come on, it's not even just that they were such an incredible tag team. Like, they are an incredible tag team who both have world heavyweight championship careers. Like, their singles careers, yes, are just as, if not more impressive than their tag career. So it's like you're walking on hollow ground to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, like, screw me. I'm not the one. I didn't watch it. Like, I'm not paying as close attention, clearly. But that seems crazy. And that's also not like a slight to Kill Switch and Kip, whatever.
Sabian, get it right.
Thank you.
Damn it.
Well, could not pick those two out of a lineup. Now I feel bad. I'm going to keep looking. Keep talking. Who the hell are these people?
Main event of AEW, lights out steel cage match. Darby Allin teamed up with Hiroshi Tanahashi, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega.
Oh, wait, Luchasaurus? That's Kill Switches?
Yeah, I think.
When did he be? I hate this even more now.
We've already moved on, Andrew. We've already moved on.
I just forgot that he's not called Luchasaurus anymore, which I like.
Darby Allin and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
And Adam Lambert is who Kip Sabian reminds me of. Sorry, keep going.
I was wait, Adam Lambert, the American Idol
they were the same kind of eyeshadow, and I have no qualms about eyeshadow. But when you're bleach blonde and have eyeshadow, you're either Adam Lambert or George Michael, and they should be so lucky.
That's true. That is true.
I'm so sorry. I've derailed this enough. Keep going.
No, not at all, buddy. Oh, it's so good to have you back. Steel cage. It is. Steel cage match was our main event at Forbidden Door. For the third time, Darby Allin, Tanahashi, Will Ospreay, and Kenny Omega.
A 4-way steel cage match?
Wait, no, 5-way. Sorry. Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. They went up against Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, the Young Bucks, and Gabe Kidd.
Oh, so it was like a War Games match?
Yeah, basically. It was a steel cage match, just one ring, steel cage.
And they had 10 people in there?
10
at
people.
the same time?
Dude. Yeah, it was crazy.
Okay.
Unsanctioned match, unsanctioned as well. Keep that in mind. Very bloody, very gory. There was a fork spot to Darby Allin, which literally made me feel ill after watching it. There were table breaks, kendo sticks, and one of the funniest moments in wrestling I've ever seen. The Young Bucks brought a sack into the middle of the ring. So, Andrew, a big sack comes into the ring in a steel cage, and they're unraveling it. They're going to dump something out in the ring. What would you assume would be in that sack?
Oh, thumbtacks, of course.
Of course, right?
Of course.
How about gummy bears?
Gummy bears, sure.
So that happened. Someone played a prank on the Young Bucks, and it was all gummy bears.
I've heard of this, like them trying to act like people don't hate them by pretending that people hate them. Trying to lean into they're coming out to Mbop. They're coming out to, which is a good song, so screw them. Coming out to gummy bear. They're having gummy bears dumped. I think of everything. Any of my qualms with AEW, my hatred for the Young Bucks might be the most irrational. I can admit that freely. And I only say irrational because I feel like I'm on an island all by myself for this, which is whatever. That's fine. I'm going to be brave.
You stick with it. No, I can't pretend to be a Young Bucks fan, but I respect what they've done for that company, homegrown.
Of course. Of course.
But, and they do, play it, lean into how much people hate them. So I respect that. But just not my cup of tea. Anytime they're in a match, I just have no interest whatsoever. Yeah. So to see them in a main event was not exactly what I was hoping for. But it was an entertaining match. They used the
sounds crazy.
It was crazy.
I like literally everyone else in that.
It was AEW, doing what they do best. Chaos. Their main events are always insane. Leave you talking about it long after the event. And this was one of those for a very specific reason. This match would go to to, Darby Allin, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, that team. And,
and did Ospreay get hurt? Did he get hurt?
Yeah, so this is where the contention is coming in. Moxley at the end struck Ospreay post-match, leaving him stretchered out. And he's going to be leaving. However, here's the problem, Andrew. For months and months and months on end, on TV, in story, they've been saying that Will Ospreay had to leave to have neck surgery, which is true. He has to go away and have actual neck surgery. Now, why did they even have to bother having Moxley injure him enough to stretcher him out and write him off TV when in story we know this guy is going away to have surgery? I just don't understand why they even had to do that. Just to get more heat on Moxley? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough because I think I'm a big proponent of kayfabe kind of being dead, and I do think there are still downfalls, and I think that's kind of part of it, is where you can be like honest with your audience to a fault.
Yeah.
And then it ends up kind of raising more questions than answers. But I would say you're probably right, which is they were like, well, we don't want this to go to waste. Might as well keep people
do something
hating Jon Moxley for the foreseeable future.
But you don't have to try hard, I'll tell you that much.
I will say that's the thing that kind of keeps coming out that cracks me up, is people definitely seem to hate his heel turn to the point where it's like genuine heat, as opposed to just like they hate him as a bad guy.
Yeah. Dude. Go away heat is an understatement.
Here's my main question.
Yes.
How long was this pay-per-view?
It was, I would say, around 4.5 hours. Definitely not as long.
Acceptable. I'll accept it.
Some of these other ones.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That sounds like you had money's worth.
It was good for sure. Yeah, definitely got money's worth.
Not held hostage. Sure.
No. So, I guess I'd give it give this a B. A B. They were a good show. Nice. Yeah. Nothing too memorable. Mercedes Moné was in a match. She might have got a title. I don't know. She's up to like 10 titles at this point, which is hilarious. Love that storyline. I don't care what anyone says. I think it's awesome. But yeah, man, that's AEW Forbidden Door from my perspective. Nice. I had a really good time. But what should we do next? Do we want to do our top 3 injuries, or should we move to Clash in Paris?
Yeah, let's do the injuries just in case we don't, because at least we can run down the predictions real quick. I'm not even sure what matches are happening on Saturday.
I got you.
Thanks to injuries and stuff. So, but speaking of it, so we can talk about these real quick. Some honorable mentions, we had talked about this. Of course, Owen Hart tragically perished. And that's it's something we can't even. It was the most heartbreaking injury possible. And he is not the only person to have died from something the gravest example, probably. Mm-hmm. And then a Darren Drozdoff, who was also tragically injured and then would eventually succumb to those injuries after he was living a life for quite some time, even though he was a quadriplegic. So it's a tough, I didn't want to make it clear that we were making light of anything, or also that we were ignoring certain things. So I just wanted to mention 2 glaring examples from our childhood.
Yeah.
I remember crying about Owen Hart, and I think Droz was somebody who that happened right when I was getting into wrestling, and it was kind of you just kind of knew, you knew right off the top, okay, so this is not something to mess with.
Yeah. I remember watching the Owen Hart thing live, and it shook me.
The memorial?
No, the night that it happened.
Oh,
the televised event. Yeah.
Sure.
And it just...
it's weird. It's a very weird, if people had more respect for pro wrestling, it would be something that's studied as a kind of interesting, horrific thing. Yeah. The fact that they all still had to go on with that show is unacceptable. But it kind of led to crazy shit.
Yep.
A night that will ideally never happen again.
Yep. And it shouldn't. It should never happen again.
Yeah.
But no injury should ever happen. So let's get to
our.
And
it's just gonna. They're just gonna. That's the thing.
They're
That's
gonna happen. It's wrestling.
Part is
wrestling.
You can be careful. You can do all these different things. You are gonna get hurt. Like it's not an if, it's a when.
Yeah.
And it
I was
can
just
happen.
Talking, I was just listening to Mike Chioda, the referee, was on Chris Van.
Was on Chris Van. Yes,
yeah. He was talking about that time that Brock Lesnar missed Kurt Angle by like literally like 2 centimeters when he tried to hit that shooting star press or whatever,
which apparently was Angle's idea.
It was.
He's so good. I need to like
Incredible.
sit down. I need to consume that show not just through TikTok clips, but it's also like the only thing I look at on TikTok now. So I should just sit
probably a good thing. Yeah.
But he reposted a clip of Angle talking about that because of the Quixote episode. It's just good. He also had a great episode with Fatu, the newest Fatu.
Fatu, yep. Zilla Fatu, I think.
Fatu, thank you.
Really Ben Blade's a huge, one of the best interviewers in the biz.
He's very good. He's very good. He also sat down with Jack Swagger, who's like a huge piece of shit, but like that, it was an interesting enough interview. Swagger sucks, but like it's interesting to hear him talk about the business. So just really,
was he the one that put Tony Khan under the bus?
Yeah, he tried to say, he did one of my favorite things, which was say that he got fired because he supported Trump, and then called Tony Khan a communist.
Anyways.
Which is just like right up there with some. It's just, it goes in line with whenever I hear people like, how could you not like Tony Khan for like what he does? I'm like, guys, he's a billionaire. Like, I'm sorry. There's just no way that he hasn't done terrible things. Yeah. Like, there's just no way. It's just not how it works. But anyway.
Where should we start?
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll start with my first one because it's like a light. It's a kind of lighter one, and some of these are a little bit more personal to me.
Gotcha.
And this is just because of how they impacted me. This is one that I saw happen, which I wanted to make sure that I got it. Hold on. Oh yes, here we go. So this was WrestleMania 39.
Okay.
In April of 2023, and there was a match between, I believe it was an impromptu match between The Miz and Shane McMahon.
Okay, all right.
Shane McMahon comes out,
tries
to jump over The Miz, lands, and tore his quad.
Tore
his and goes down immediately. And I remember seeing this, and he goes up, and he comes down. And he clearly cannot stand, and he tries to, and then just kind of sits and like is like, I'm done. I can't do this. And gets injured. Now, the year before, there was the Royal Rumble controversy, right? Where he comes out and
he was an entrant. Yep.
Yes, where he comes in at he comes in at number 28. Apparently, he's a real pain in the ass backstage during all that. Don't know exactly what happened, but that kind of, it seemed like that ended his tenure with the company. So it was already surprising to see him come back in like an exciting way. The biggest thing for me out of the Vince McMahon, the Mr. McMahon documentary on Netflix was a renewed sense of respect for Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
His interviews in that are heartbreaking. It seems like he seems like a decent dude. I don't know him personally. He's a billionaire. He could be, I'm sure he's done some shitty things in his life. It's just kind of a safe assumption to make. But it also seemed like he was raised by one of the worst people alive and was constantly on a mission to impress that person and was constantly overlooked for his younger sibling. They're also, look, it probably hurt more because she's a woman, and given the temperature, I don't know how things are in pro wrestling, how hyper masculine they can be.
Right.
I'm sure that made it even harder. That's a shitty reason, but just to be overlooked by your sibling and have that sibling be raised up in this thing that you were clearly trying to be a part of. It seems like Shane McMahon's a very complex person. and may not be as shitty as the other. Look, I don't see him. I haven't. Maybe he has been. I certainly haven't seen him at the White House. I certainly haven't seen him sitting next to Linda McMahon. I don't think I've seen him with Linda McMahon. But I say that now, and now I'm going to have to look it up just in case.
Well, I want to add, was that the night where our newly discovered homophobe Snoop Dogg was involved with the event?
Oh, yes, it was. Yes, it was. Okay. Yeah. Oh, God.
I know. We won't get into it.
Yeah, it's just been so frustrating.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it was really terrible. Hold on. Oh, never mind. He's still going around with her. So that sucks too. So there you go. Don't put anybody up on a pedestal ever. But
don't do it.
That injury sucks, and it I think Shane has probably been through a lot. And so that one, I remember watching that live and being like Shane, and they'd be like Shane, like and now especially I rolled my ankle earlier this year, and it has like my leg. That was back in May, and my left leg is just within the last couple of weeks at a point where everything was hurting in it.
Oh,
things get harder. And so that one, for that reason, hit me hard, and for the reason also that I think Shane's probably had a tough go of it. So that was my number 3. Shane McMahon injuring his quads at WrestleMania 39.
All right, that's fair. Well, you came to me with heartbreaking, so I don't think we could have done this without a heart involved, and that was Bret Hart. Bret Hart, post-concussion syndrome, 1999. Hey. Literally heartbreaking in a way. Bret Hart's career came to an end after a severe concussion he suffered during the match against Goldberg in December of 1999. This is when Goldberg accidentally struck Hart with a stiff kick to the head, which caused a concussion so severe that Hart later described it as leaving him in a fog for months.
Crazy.
He would go on to wrestle a little bit after that, but ultimately was diagnosed with post-concussion syndrome, and by the early 2000s, the doctors advised him to retire from in-ring competition, officially marking the end of his career. And Andrew, we have not heard the end of it since, have we?
No, nor should we.
Excuse
Goldberg
me.
should take that to his grave. That was the one thing that that's why I brought up Jack Swagger's dumbass earlier on, is that he took shots at Goldberg during his Chris Benoit interview, and I was like, hey, you know what? Fair enough. Never mind. Yeah,
fair enough.
Oh, man.
But yeah, dude, I was a big Bret Hart fan, honestly. Like, technical wrestling-wise, he was just a master at it. And
one of the best ever.
One of the safest wrestlers out there. And to know his career was ended because of another wrestler being, quote-unquote, unsafe, it just sucks. It is irony at its worst, and I hate it. So, yeah, that's my number 3.
All right. My number 2, Saraya.
Ooh.
Known at the time as Paige.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the most horrendous clips I've ever seen in my entire life. I was trying to find the exact
I cannot
date.
watch it.
Yeah, I could not watch it for this, but this was in 2017. 2016, December of 2016. She's in a house show. She gets kicked in the back by Sasha Banks, and she can't land. Like, she can't land with her hands. Like, it just
gone. Yeah.
It's one of the scariest things I've ever seen. Like, and that includes like, Sid Vicious landing on a foot and having it snap in half, or like Big E getting tossed on his head. Big E's is one of those ones. I almost did it, but it's like the opposite of heartbreaking because he seems really happy right now.
Yeah, could have.
And to be fair,
yeah.
And to be fair, Saraya has returned to the ring.
Yeah.
So props to Tony Khan for bringing her in for that. Like that. And there's rumors that she will be coming back to the WWE should she want to. So luckily it has a happier ending. But that clip is horrific. And I can see it. I didn't need to watch it because I can just see it if I think about it. It's really crazy. So I'm glad she's okay. But that one, I remember seeing that and my heart broke. Like, because like I can only imagine how terrifying that was.
Talk about a comeback story, though. I mean,
she wrote
a best-selling book. She had a movie made about her.
With Florence Pugh right before Florence Pugh took off.
Man. I know.
Yeah.
And, she, like you said, she might be coming back, and it's just so good to see her reflecting on her past, her present, and what could be in the future. So very inspiring story for sure. That was a good one. That's a good one. All right. My number 2 here is Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, this is kind of an obvious one, but his neck injury. This happened back in 1997 with the late Owen Hart.
Oh, yeah, with Owen Hart, right. Duh.
Yep.
Duh.
Yeah, a botched pile driver delivered by Hart at SummerSlam 97 ended up fracturing Stone Cold's neck. And I mean, just like Saraya, man. Like he had paralysis immediately. He couldn't move his hands. He could barely get up. They had to carry him back after the match. Luckily, they were
still
able
gets
to
the
end
roll
the
up.
match.
Still gets the roll up.
He got
too,
somehow.
Which
he was able to get that roll up too. Insane. But Austin would go on to be the biggest star in the Attitude Era after that. But it caught up to him. Nerve damage, chronic pain.
Sure.
And I don't remember which year. 2002 is when he would officially retire. And put The Rock over at WrestleMania 19, and the rest is sort of history. We've seen Austin a couple times after that, but that was it, man. This unfortunate event in 97 would ultimately lead to his retirement much earlier than I think a lot of people anticipated. But, he never blamed Hart for it. It was just a big mistake like these things often are, kind of like Draws and D'Lo, and you move on. You move on from there. And Austin has been doing pretty damn well for himself post-wrestling career. So I'm sure there's no true complaints there. So that's my number 2.
Yeah. Okay. My number 1.
Okay.
Because I think, and it was almost, I was almost not going to use it, but then it it got worse after it happened. So in 2006 at Armageddon, there was a 14 tag team ladder match. Paul London and Brian Kendrick, William Regal and Dave Taylor, Matt and Jeff Hardy, and Eminem, Johnny Nitro, and Joey Mercury. In this match, somebody does like a seesaw kind of a situation onto a ladder outside, and it goes up, and the ladder hits Joey Mercury right in the face.
Oh.
Shatters, I believe it shatters his nose. Let me double check that, though. He almost lost an eye. And Matt Hardy said he recalled somebody yelling, "I'm bleeding." And then he said it was like somebody turned on a faucet spigot and there was just blood everywhere. And I remember they had to rush him back. He did not finish the match. And then it goes downhill from there. He gets addicted to painkillers. He gets fired from the Vince McMahon intervened with him directly, and he had already had a drug and alcohol problem, and this just kind of made it worse. But then one little detail which I saw, which was pretty crazy, is that as he was retiring and getting out of there, CM Punk purchased his house for him because he was in danger of losing it.
Okay.
He would eventually go on to kind of recover. He would even come back to WWE at one point and be part of Punk's Straight Edge Society. I think he became a producer for a little while, and he's living an okay life. But it's just a perfect example of something just randomly going wrong and it almost ruining his life.
Yeah.
Just a kind of what's at stake with these kind of things in a way that you would never even expect. So that's my number 1 is Joey Mercury. Just because I just remember that sticking out to me so much. And then I was kind of floored to look deeper and see how wrong it went afterward.
Well, it's such a good example of what often happens with wrestlers when they have an injury that can be permanent and they're trying to mask it just to get by each day out on the road and continue their careers, just to, put food on the table back home.
Exactly.
They will do anything, and that can lead to these addictions and just a spiral effect. And it happens all the time. There's a reason we have 6 seasons of Dark Side of the Ring, right? I mean, it's just
man,
honestly,
honestly,
it's crazy. All right, good number one. Good number one. I wasn't sure where you were going with that, but yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's so cool about CM Punk as well. That just, amazing. Amazing.
Yep. Yeah. It's a good dude.
All right. My number one involves our good boy Cope. Edge. One of the most tragic moments in my history of watching wrestling.
Sure.
My favorite wrestler, Edge. In 2011, had to announce that he had cervical spinal stenosis. Directly following WrestleMania 27 and a successful defense of the World Heavyweight Championship, Edge made an announcement that shocked the world and a little Ryan that he had to leave. This stemmed back all the way to an injury in 2003 of his neck, and he was forced to retire from wrestling immediately following a diagnosis of cervical spinal stenosis. He had to relinquish the title, and he would not return to the WWE for another 9 years after that. That surprise return that he had that just is still shown to this day. But, I thought that was it. I thought that was the last we were ever going to see of Edge, and he's still wrestling today, which is insane, man. But yeah, it was a very emotional
and still
moment.
Getting injured.
And still getting injured and making dumb mistakes.
I was trying to look up Hulk Hogan. I feel like when Edge got injured in 2014, Hulk Hogan was like, "Nah, he'll be fine. He'll come back, brother. Like, don't worry, he'll be." He was right, which is really annoying. Then all I could find was Hogan. Hulk Hogan questions Adam Copeland's cage jump at AEW Double or Nothing. Quote: "He didn't need that." I was like, "Oh,
you think?
Look at that. The Hulkster, 2 for 2.
2 for 2, baby. That negates everything the man has ever done bad in his life to me.
It's true. Yeah, all out the window. Yeah,
you are a god. I'm kidding.
No, I was about to say you also looked the wrong direction. So that was those were our injuries. Like, don't look those up. Don't look those up.
Them up. Yeah.
Don't
do yourself.
It's bad news. I remember the Edge one too. It's bad news. It's bad. It's bad. So don't look those up. Real quick, Ryan.
Yes.
Because I do got to make sure I get to these boys. I have here the matches for this Saturday.
Clash in Paris, baby. Let's go.
Only 5, which would be great. If they stick to that, that's a good day. Yeah. Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental title.
Yep.
I got Becky on this one. I got
Becky too.
I feel like they're going to run. I feel like they're going to run her run into the ground. I was not aware until yesterday, I think, that she said something about Ozzy Osbourne.
Ooh, it is not going well, dude. Not
going
over well. What's the daughter's name? Kelly Osbourne?
Yes, Kelly Osbourne was not pleased.
Not too happy.
There were rumors going around. I always forget the other guy's name that hosts the show with Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez. I remember his name.
Alvarez, yep.
Yes, yeah. He was saying that he had heard that they even are talking about doing an on-air apology, which would be pretty hilarious. There are just some places you don't go. The man just died. It's very funny though because they're theater kids, man. Wrestlers are theater kids at the end of the day, and they're just too extra sometimes, and they just think that everybody's going to be on board for their shit. Like, there's just no other. That's really all it is.
Fair enough.
So, but yeah, Becky's probably going to win. All right, Becky. Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed.
Probably Ready, 1, Roman. 2, 3. Roman.
Yeah, Roman. Like, I feel like it has to be Roman. I could see a world where Bronson wins if they want the faction to be like anything. I think he maybe even should win.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm looking forward to that match. I think that'll be a good match.
I just want him to get his shoes back. I'm sorry.
That's fair. Yeah. No, that has to happen.
I just want my kids back. Sorry. I'm rewatching Arrested Development.
I was about to say, never apologize for a good old Tom Jane quote.
Did you know he was on my UFO show and he said that line in my episode?
Yes. Yeah. I listened to that interview.
Unprompted.
Absolutely. I listened to that. I remember listening
Shout out to
that,
Tom
of course.
Jane. Yeah.
Shout out to Tom Jane. Hey, Tom, if you want to talk about wrestling, what's up? You worked with Kevin Nash. Let's talk about that. Write that down. You are reaching out to Tom Jane today and seeing if he wants to talk about Kevin Nash. Thank you.
Let me call him right now. Call
Thank
Tom
you.
J.
Yeah. All right. In a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, we've got Sheamus versus Rusev. I feel like
I looked
Rusev
up what a
has to win
Donnybrook
the
match is. Can I tell you
Shut
what
up.
it is?
It's nothing. Yeah, go ahead. Fine.
It's quote unquote a wild fight, a free for all brawl, or a rowdy commotion. That is the definition of a good old fashioned Donnybrook match. Someone had to do the research, Andrew. Thank you, ChatGPT.
Look, you know what? It's better than an unsanctioned match. It makes more sense than an unsanctioned match, so I'll give them that. Rusev has to win this, or else they're just as bad as AEW was in their use of Rusev. And maybe it's just that nobody likes Rusev. I don't know. I honestly don't.
I don't know what's going on. He just never clicked.
No, the man could come out and like throw Hulk Hogan's corpse into the garbage, and I think those fans would still not be on his side. It's really crazy.
I don't know,
but I feel like
he's
not. He's really not. But it'll be a big meaty men slapping meat.
That'll be our dude, big this meaty is gonna men
slapping meat of the night, which is good.
Crazy match. Yeah, I got Rusev as well. Yep.
Yeah. I'm hoping this is on Wikipedia, so I don't think this is in any particular order. I feel like this match is going to kick off the night, though. John Cena versus Logan Paul.
I think you're right. Yeah, good opener, I believe.
Yeah.
Who do you got for this one? I'm torn.
If I liked Logan Paul, it should be Logan Paul.
Yeah.
But I don't think he deserves to get put over by Cena on his way out. It's so strange because that's what Cena's last matches should be. Yeah. He's got 2 months. And then he's not doing this again. But also ever. But I don't think I see him losing again until his last match. If they're going to do it, they have to save it. So ideally, I think Cena's going to win this match. I think if for him to really losing to Cody was different. Losing to Cody for the belt was different.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I feel like everybody knew that had to happen, and Cody's already a megastar. But if Cena loses a non-title match, it has to mean something. And I think that can only happen against, I don't know whoever they decide to have him face at Saturday night's main event in December. Mm-hmm. And look, he's in Boston. They could still chicken out and have him win that match. But I think he should lose his last match and put the next person over like crazy.
That is such a good point. I was going to say Logan because I do feel behind the scenes Cena's really pushing for Logan. I think he thinks he could be it. But I know, man. I know.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're right. I think a win right now for Cena would make his eventual loss at the end meaningless. Yeah. So I'm with you. I think he needs
a loss now makes the next couple of months meaningless.
Yeah, exactly.
It really does.
Exactly. So yeah, I think Cena has to win.
Yeah. And I still don't know who that last opponent is going to be. I do know that I hope that this will be the second final match of someone's career at a Saturday night's main event this year. And I really hope that he gets to get 5 minutes to do his
hour-long speech at the end.
I guarantee there's no way they cut away from John Cena. There's no way. And especially now, I'm sure they planned for it.
Yeah.
But I think
now, will that Saturday night's main event be on NBC, or is this where it's moving over to Peacock?
It'll be on Peacock, actually, so they might not have any restrictions.
We should mention, too, this will be the last PLE that'll be on Peacock.
That's true. Yeah, then they switch over. They switch over to ESPN, which I get why everybody's,
What are you doing in this situation?
I have Hulu Live TV, and that gives me ESPN Plus for free. Boom. So there is, I understand people being upset about it. I do think if you there's probably you might already have it and not realize it.
Good point.
Or you might be able to add it to your Disney Plus for $10. I think buying it on its own sucks, but there are a lot of other ways to get it as part of other things. I even get money, and I'm going to keep Peacock too, because I still get their catalog aside from wrestling is pretty good, but I get $5 off my Peacock just because I use my MasterCard. There's all these to pay for it. Like there are all these kind of like, they're not even like ins and outs. They're just things.
Shout out MasterCard.
Yeah. Thank you, MasterCard. Thank you, MasterCard. All right. Last one. Cause then I gotta go wake these boys up. We have a world heavyweight championship match, a fatal 4-way. This is the one I'm most excited about.
Oh, for sure.
Just a plethora of reasons. Champion Seth Rollins defending against CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight.
Ooh, this is going to be good.
I think I don't know. I honestly don't. I think Punk winning could be interesting.
Okay. Interesting.
It's been a while since we've had like a back and forth, people like just trading the title back and forth kind of a situation, right?
True. Yeah.
And they could also have Punk win without beating Rollins. So then their feud keeps going, but now he has the belt again. I don't know. Like this is the one out of all of them. I'm like, I do not know how this match ends because I do think the obvious answer is Seth Rollins.
Okay.
But if they want this to be exciting, if they want to throw a curve at us, I do see a world where Punk wins this match.
Interesting. Okay. You know what? I'm going to go with you. There needs to be a title change at this thing. I mean, there doesn't have to be. They could easily play it safe.
And look, I think Nikki Bella could win. I do think that's a possibility.
That is possible for sure. Anything's possible, honestly. But I think I'm going to go with LA Knight. I'm going to throw.
Hey, look.
Yeah, dude.
He's hot right now. That would be really
super
fun.
hot again. Yeah, I could
really
see
fun.
it.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think we're living in an era now where these title changes don't have to be a year long, 2 years long.
The only tough thing about Knight or Uso in this match is neither of their feuds with Rollins mean as much as Punk's feud with Rollins.
That's true. Very true. Yeah.
That's going to be hanging over all of this until that gets settled. So,
yeah.
And I understand why they're dragging that one out. It's good stuff. And they're both like wrestling incredibly. And people are still buying that feud. So like,
yeah.
But yeah, a Knight win would be really fun.
Cool, man. LA Knight, you got CM Punk. Let's see what happens. Clash in Paris this Sunday, August 31st, 2 p.m. start time, Eastern Standard, 7 p.m. UK.
Wait, this Sunday or is it Saturday?
It is Saturday, on Sunday, August 31st.
What? Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay. Yep. But why?
I think quite a few of the PLEs have been on Sundays.
No, they've all been on Saturdays. No.
Oh, I don't know.
They've very specifically been on Saturdays. I hate this now. No, I'm just kidding. I should still be.
Is that going to ruin? Is that going to ruin your plans?
No, it was just going to make Saturday easier because Joy's gone all day. Doesn't matter. Look, we should cut. I should end this.
We got to cut this, guys. Andrew has dad things to do. But
fine, I guess.
Guys, check us out. Subscribe, like, leave us a rating and a review on Apple. That would help us out tremendously. We are now free agents, just so you guys know.
That's true. That's true.
We are no longer with the Lionsgate Network, but we want to thank them for their time. And we are an indie podcast now officially. So help us out. Rate and review. Rate us on Spotify. Review us on Apple. Like, share on YouTube. Our YouTube shorts are killing it. Go watch them over there and help us out. We could really use that, and we appreciate that. And Andrew, where can people find you, buddy?
I'm around. Go look.
He's around.
Blue Sky is probably Blue Sky or Instagram. Just look
Blue
up Andrew Sanford. I'm on there. I'm on my Instagram stories a lot. So
boom. Links are in the show notes for everything, guys. All right, let's ring that bell. I'll put it in post.
Satisfying. That was a great one. That was a good one. Yeah.
I could like feel it in the gut this time. Yeah.
I don't think you have that. Okay.
I think that's the COVID.
Yeah, probably.
This has been Somewhere in the Ring. Thank you for listening. Subscribe wherever you get your pods, and be sure to rate and review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever possible. We'll see you again soon, somewhere in the ring.